Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Onigiri, my Japanese Zen resort island. This is on my second switch. I do have another island that is preparing for the final dream address, Granola. I'm very excited to share with you all of the juicy final details of Granola. But we need a little break. We need a little bit of time for Granola to finish up and get organized. So I thought, what better to do than to get back onto Onigiri? And pretty much from the start of Onigiri, I've wanted to make these little fake building beach huts that I saw on Pinterest about a million years ago. And on stream last week, we finally got around to making some on Onigiri. We made that blue one that you saw at the beginning there, and then this pink one. And they're both so cute, but I want more. I want to make at least 3 more in this video today. Originally, I was planning for this video to be a short form video, and so that's why I'm just like spamming emotes at the beginning here. It just worked out differently because as I started building during this recording session, I just was having so much fun. I decided to also decorate in front of each one of these villager houses. And here is a little walkthrough of what the area kind of looks like right now. I've got this big open space at the one side. I've got Faith's house, Bangle's house, and then I have Sandy, Drift, and Marcel. So right now there are 2 existing condos between these buildings, but the villager houses are undecorated. The fronts of them need to be customized further. There's a lot of things that need to happen, and I'm excited to get into it with you today in a little chatty video. I did exchange that regular garden table in white for a little cute tea table for that crepe to go on, and then I had to adjust some of these trees over here. I had originally wanted the trees to cover some of the street just to give it that lush, really overgrown kind of jungle vibe. However, it was just too much jungle. We need to have a good balance between nature and city-like elements. So I'm just moving some of the trees into this little area, and I might actually just leave this area as a dense forest, or it might become part of our like restaurant area in the future. I'm still not quite sure. I just needed them out of the way so that when you're running past on the street, it's not blocking everything. And then there was a couple of trees over here where I want to put our next condo. That's going to be kind of like a orange and green vibe. So we had to get rid of these trees as well, and I did put them into that same little area. And then I got started on pathing. I'm trying to get a good mix of pathing through these areas. I had originally wanted to make each of their exteriors match, so that I actually have the rest of the 5 villagers up on the level above this, and those are going to be like the fancier condos, the fancier suites for this resort island. But I decided that these ones would be more of like a town vibe. So each of these houses have different pathing outside of them, and they're going to have a colorful exterior. And then I think the ones on the top, who knows, if I change my mind, I might make them all different as well, because I tend to default towards that. But I would like to make the ones on the second level feel more elevated or like glamorous. So I might make them all white exteriors and then match the pathing out front of them too. I don't want to make them too cookie cutter to each other, but I also want them to feel a little bit more sleek and a little bit more like this one's more where people probably live at this resort, and the other one is like high-end guests that are staying for short stays. Is this making like I come up with all of this, like it's not even lore, it's more just like my thought process and I guess storytelling for the island, but maybe it's just because I wanted this level to feel colorful and I have to justify it in some way. I don't know. So yeah, later on, I do decide that this level is going to be all colorful, all fully unique, and I'm kind of, because I made that pink and blue condo on stream, I got into like really color blocking each of these villager homes. So I customized them all as like the hut style home, but then I put like the roundish ones with the more of a grass roof with a little sprout at the top. Is that but yeah, each one of them is gonna have their own distinctive color vibe. I repeat some colors because there's a lot of them, but I just enjoyed that doing that on stream and I thought I'd just repeat it. So we're starting with going to the storage and picking out all the things we need. We need a loft bed. We need we need two loft beds, four simple panels, and a stall. That's the base. That is just simply the base. I'm adding a clothesline into this build. I didn't add it in on any of the other condo builds. I'm not really sure why I was determined to put a clothesline in here, and I don't even know if it really worked. You're gonna have to let me know if you like the clothesline and the effect that it gives. And then I'm just choosing some little items to put on top of the stall. And then I'm getting into customizing eventually once I learn how to cry from Marcel. Thank you so much for teaching me sorrow. I weep for tomorrow is so dramatic also. I laughed at that. I weep for tomorrow. How dramatic. Ma'am, this is Animal Crossing. So I'm starting with customizing these simple panels, and I thought that I wanted to do this like yellow with a yellow background with the green window inside for the top row of simple panels. I ended up going with the large window design just because I thought it would stand out better for the top windows. And then I'm using the yellow background one for the lower level. And of course, I'm using the exact same door for all of my condos, which is just this simple kind of glass panel door that I downloaded. And I would like to have a separate door style for each one of the condos, but honestly, it's a lot of designs that would take up on this island, and I am already running out of space, which is literally heartbreaking. I'm probably gonna have to go through and edit my custom designs and see which ones I'm only using like in one spot and tone it down because I want to make more designs for this island too. Oh my god. When we got another 50 design slots, it felt like, honestly, so much. I felt like there's no way that I'm going to fill them up instantaneously. Hey, I'm going to need 50 more. Hey, and that's so rude because I'm going to need 50 more. So to start the structure of this little build, I am building out a little bit of terraforming, and then I'm putting in all of my like street light utility pole stuff to start. And then the loft bed is going at the back of this build. And I am not leaving it on a half tile this time. Without the clothesline, I leave it on a half tile away from the street. But because I knew I was adding a clothesline in, I decided to put it right on top of that other path there. And I did try this out with the stall behind the clothesline, and it didn't exactly work because you couldn't see these decorative items that I'm putting on top of the stall. Accidentally grabbed the pink Dharma instead of the green one. So I headed down to inspect my work, and yeah, it hides everything. The clothesline is a really cute item. I love that it's a half tile item and it has like movement to it. It's very cute, but it kind of hides everything. In this one, I mean, even just the stalls in general, you can't really see the design behind it on the symbol panels. And I noticed in some of the references that I had, there are some that have the stall in that position, and there are some that just have regular items in that spot to make it look like it's just an open balcony. And I really liked the stall, so I just ended up doing it on all of them. But maybe I'll do some more of these buildings around my island because I do have the designs for them, and I'm kind of a little bit addicted to making them now after doing this. It's very cute. I highly recommend if you want to like add more bulk to a neighborhood, add these little buildings in between. It's so much fun. I'm pretty excited about it, as you can see. I'm running in speedy little circles. After I decorated the outside of this condo, and I just did it pretty simply, I got into decorating just the other houses at random, started moving things around, and at this point I wasn't exactly sure like what colors, for example, these two houses on either side of this new condo that I'm building, I don't know what color I want them to be at all. Very shortly here, I'm going to be redecorating the outsides of all of the villager houses. And those ones, I had to like go back in and redesign them a second time because their colors weren't like distinctive enough. I kind of just made them like beige, and then I was like, all these other ones are so colorful. But I am just gonna let Lil Taya keep on going. I'll keep an eye on it if there's anything that I need to mention, especially. But I'm just gonna yap. I'm just gonna yap about things that I want to yap about. And one of the things is, if I had 3 wishes to make from a genie, and I've thought about this a lot, so there it would have to be something for everybody. And I don't know where I heard this. I think it might have been on So True, Caleb Heron's podcast. But like, you have to do one wish that is like a weird one. You can do one that's for you, and then you can do one that's like a stupid one, right? So my one that would be for everybody, like everybody all over the world, would be universal basic income, like period. Why in this world that we have, that supposedly we have so much technology, we haven't just figured out how to do that for everybody. It wouldn't break the world. It would be so helpful. Anyways, that's what I would wish. That's one thing that I would wish. And then the next one that's just for me would be white teeth. I don't know. And honestly, I haven't thought about that one a whole lot. That one like just came to me right now as I'm thinking about this. But white teeth, sure. That one's just for me. I mean, I could just as easily, if I have a genie, just be like, everybody gets white teeth. But maybe some people like their teeth. I don't know. They have their own genie. They can make their own wishes. That's a terrifying thought. What if all of a sudden every single person had a genie and it was just like everybody gets to make 3 wishes? The chaos that the world would be plunged into. I can only imagine the not so altruistic things. But then I have one that's a stupid one, but that's also kind of one for everybody. Originally, my stupid one was like, I wish that I could just have one finger where any liquid comes out of it, but I think I heard that one somewhere too. Oh my gosh, teleportation. Teleportation. Screw white teeth. I can go and get my teeth whitened with my universal basic income. I want to have teleportation. Oh my god, okay. Universal basic income, that's one wish. Second wish is teleportation. Third wish is very oddly specific. This is the one that I've been thinking about for the longest. I wish that like people who were bad, like I'm not talking like, oh, you did a bad thing the other day. You didn't I don't know, you dropped a piece of trash and didn't pick it up. I'm not talking about that. Like, pick up your trash, but like, come on, take it easy. Also, a receipt flew out of my hand and flew halfway across the parking lot. I'm not gonna chase it to the other side of the freaking parking lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not willy-nilly throwing bags. Anyways, this isn't even the point of what I'm trying to talk about. What I'm saying is people who are corrupt and bad and like make a habit of like inflicting suffering on the people around them, that they would become hideous. And I'm not talking about just like, ooh, they have a couple more wrinkles. I'm talking like they kind of lose all of the pigmentation in their skin, like they just become gray, or like they get big boils on their face and turn into like Skeletor, essentially. I mean, Skeletor kind of had his own thing going on, but you know what I mean. They become an outward embodiment of the way that they are inside. So you would know, like, by looking at somebody if they were up to no good, and then if they were altruistic or good or just period normal, that they would just have like a base level of attractiveness. You wouldn't be able to tell if somebody was like, there would still be regular ass people. Like, there would still be regular ass people. You wouldn't get hotter if you did good things. It's just the more corrupt that you got, like, it would have some kind of a physical indication, like, that was different than regular, you know, things going on with people. Yeah, I think like big, like open cuts on their face would just form or something like that. You know what I mean? Is this getting too graphic? Anyways, That's what I think. These are my wishes 3. Teleportation would really be the sickest thing ever, though. Like, imagine just being like, I'm gonna go to Paris for the day. I'm gonna go for one meal to like this restaurant on the other side of the world. Just magically appearing in Disneyland, and they're like, "Did you pay for a ticket, ma'am?" And you just disappear. You just go to another area of the park. You just materialize into the beginning of the line. Why am I thinking about using this in nefarious ways? Specifically at Disneyland. I've never even been to Disneyland slash world. I don't know the difference. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I've been going recently to a new like women's group in Toronto because I'm new to the area and I want to get to know more people. So I joined this group that like we meet every week. So I've been thinking more about like conversation starters and that kind of thing. And now I've started pinning conversation starters to Pinterest as just like something to get my mind moving. I have not pulled up one of them because it's kind of awkward to be like, "Oh, let me pull up this list of questions completely organically." But they are interesting questions, and I'm trying to like get them to stick in my mind because wouldn't it be cool to just rock out like one of these questions? Actually, I have thought about the 3 wishes thing like extensively on my own time, but seeing the prompt for what would you, ask a genie if you had 3 wishes, I'm like, oh, actually, I have thought of this a lot. So now that I'm pinning more of these things, I come across these random things on Pinterest that are like funny questions to ask. And this one has very weird questions. For example, what would be the coolest animal to scale up to the size of a horse? And I feel like there are some obvious like household animals that like a cat that feels like a good idea cuz cats are cute, but then they would just be a lion, but even bigger because horses are bigger than lions. Are horses bigger than lions? Yes, horses are significantly bigger than lions in both height and weight. While a lion typically weighs between 270 and 570 pounds, a horse can range from 700 pounds for a small horse or over 1100 pounds for a large riding horse. And she weighs over 15,000 pounds. 1500? Nope, add another zero to that. Okay, you can't sing the whole song every single time you think of it, but I want to. Just know I'm gonna have to pause this and sing the whole song. Okay, I had to go and sing it, I had to go and watch it, and I've healed myself now. If you have not seen Lubalin, just Google 15,000 pound horse, and it's the first video that will come up. And if you haven't seen it yet, then it's just like a part of the cultural zeitgeist that you don't get. You gotta get it. It's like not even it's I think a minute long. Just do it. I really don't know if I'd want to size up any animal to the size of a horse. I feel like that would be terrifying. I feel like most horse-sized creatures are pretty scary. Like horses for me are kind of scary. I think for me it would be more a matter of what large size animal do you want to shrink down? Just a quick interjection before I get to what animal I would like to shrink down to cat size. I did time travel to get all of the houses exteriors decorated, and you can see here that Bangles is not hitting. It's just like kind of gray. And then also Faith's is good, but like the combination of these 3 together is like kind of icky. Plus it's raining, plus I'm into September for no reason at all. So I decided to then time travel backwards to July to get the weather looking good, and then I'm gonna redecorate Bangle's house. For me, it would be more a matter of what large size animal do you want to shrink down? And for me, that's a lot of like the African big five. Like, you know, give me a little tiny rhino. That's so cute. Okay. Size down a rhino to the size of a cat. Oh, and don't like house hippos. If you're a millennial in Canada, you know about house hippos. And That's another thing you got to go and Google because I can't explain it to you. Everybody who knows about house hippos now, now I've just unlocked something for you and you're so welcome, but I'll explain it briefly here. In the 90s, there was a commercial on Canadian television that was basically like there was like concerned advertisers initiative in Canada that was trying to teach people to like think critically about the things that they see on television. It's even more important now to think about the things critically that we see on everywhere, the internet abroad. But there was one of these commercials from these concerned children's advertisers that was advertising like a documentary style of a house hippo, and it was superimposed. It was like edited images of hippos in the wild, but small like a mouse and walking around people's houses. And they were like talking about the natural habitat and everything of a house hippo. And it honestly, now that I look back, I'm like, this is pretty believable looking for the time. And every kid wanted to like believe that a house hippo was true. And then at the end, they're like, don't believe everything you see. But there's so much of me that was like, I want that to be real. Why isn't that real? Small. Maybe a possum. Would a possum be like possums are kind of weird, but I do find them oddly cute. And maybe if they were a giant thing, like capybara style, capybara kind of feels like just a large ass guinea pig. But what if a possum was huge? They would probably be equally as scary, but their demeanor is very nice. I feel like I'm thinking personality wise for the animal. If you're gonna scale up an animal, I want it to be a nice animal. So I've time traveled once again, and I've gotten Bangle's house looking pink now, which looks much better next to the green and orange condo and Faith's house that's more red. And I'm also realizing that I gave Bangle and Faith the same wreath on their door, so I will go back in and change one of their wreaths out, but that's not the end of the world. I didn't decorate the interiors. Well, that's not true. I did decorate one interior by accident. I hit on Drift's house. I was like, yes, decorate the interior, and I just ended up doing it. I did click it again for Faith's house, and then I was like, cancel out of this. Like, I did not mean to adjust the interior. It's just too many freaking menu options sometimes, and they're just like, let me get through all this dialogue, and then you just click the wrong thing. But here I'm starting to decorate around Marcel's house. And I did put this tree outside the front of his house, and I kind of like this stunted bamboo tree, but it did limit the amount of stuff that I could put in his yard. So I'm kind of keeping the right-hand side a little bit more open so that I could, you know, have it be a little bit, to just give him a little more real estate here. These questions are kind of cracking me up, though. I want to get into another one. Ooh, and the first one that I spotted on this silly little list is, if you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be and why? Great question. For some reason, the first thing that comes to my mind is a squash, but I don't think that I am a squash because I think that I'm more soft on the exterior, but then I probably have like some annoying seeds. So, well, kind of squash does have annoying seeds, but like I'm thinking tomato now because also I have a very red undertone in my skin. So maybe I'm a tomato. I'm a little round. I'm a little bit squishy and not terribly difficult to get into, but I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I don't know. Is this me? Okay, so just asking that question got me on a massive sidetrack that was so much fun. I found a hilarious adventure quiz. Like, I don't know how to describe what I just did. An adventure quiz on GitHub. Somebody made like a what vegetable are you game, and you literally follow it through like a choose your own adventure, and then at the end it gives you your veggie ID. And my veggie ID says that I'm broccoli. My strengths are that I'm a good leader, comes up with the craziest, wackiest, yet best ideas, weird bursts of courage. And then my weaknesses are too scared to ask their crush out and also delusional, perfectionist tendencies, chronic case of bedhead. And then my quotes are sometimes people just don't see my vision and is everyone ready to go? And then it really literally shows your alignment chart. 40% lawful, 40% neutral, 20% chaotic, 80% good, 15% neutral, 5% evil. And my hidden talent is finding everyone, including their ex. But in between finding and everyone, it's like finding good in everyone, but good in is scratched out. And then my peer reviews are soft hands from garlic, carried my team project from potato, and I want to make a startup with broccoli, but they're already working on one with garlic, and this is from bok choy. I'll put up a picture while I'm talking about this. I am gonna put a link to this in the description. Also a link to the Canadian House Hippo commercial. I mean, we're just covering such a breadth of topics. Such a such a vegetable of topics. We're covering such a cornucopia of topics on this day, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm gonna need you to do this hilarious vegetable quiz and tell me what vegetable you got because I am obsessed with this. The little pictures are so freaking cute. I just Googled, like, what vegetable am I? And this was one of the first things that came up. Super funny. Back to the build. I am starting to decorate around Sandy's house, and I realized that a lot of the items I grabbed for her house were actually more orange than they were yellow. And so I'm bringing those items over to Faith's house, and I, at this point, start to kind of decorate a little bit chaotically. If I find a pink item that I like, I'm bringing it over to Bangal's house. If I'm finding an orange item, I'm bringing it here, yellow, etc. So I'm not really like following a distinctive process. I'm just moving on fluidly from one area of this neighborhood to the next, which doesn't make for the most, cohesive storyline when it comes to putting the whole video together, but we're just having a nice chatty time over top of it, so it doesn't matter what order I decorate this place in. But I am excited to decorate the upper level of this neighborhood as well, and to maybe make it somehow feel more fancy and elevated. I'm actually thinking of like Greece, how there's those like white and blue everywhere. And even though I don't want it to feel like Greece, I kind of think I want to do like white and another color, like maybe white and orange or white and pink, something like that, to make it feel very fancy. Honestly, blue might be a good color because it's very sunshiny and happy feeling as well. So we'll see what I do, because this is just like a made up world. I'm not basing this. I mean, I am basing it loosely off of like American Village in Okinawa. Maybe I need to go back to the references and see like what kind of a fancier area of that, a fancier building in that area, what that looks like. Maybe I'll take a little tour. There was a time before I started Onigiri that I was visiting it like every day obsessively. And so I feel like I got a lot of the vibe of that place in my mind, but I wasn't thinking of like a fancy resort vibe either. So we're on to day 3 of recording this voiceover, and my allergies are absolutely atrocious. Thank you for asking. I am sneezing and I am leaking out of my nose like a maniac. Anyways, I did take a quick trundle into Google Maps to check out American Village once more to refresh my memory, and also to check out some of the more bougie places. And it looks like terracotta roofs are a thing to a certain degree. Also, everything that's fancy, and I kind of hate this, like how everything that's fancy kind of loses color as it gets fancier. It's like they tone it down. They go more towards like browns and greens and blues. Love you, brown, green, and blue, but they tone it down. Like if there's blue, there's like just a little punch of blue, just a little of blue, and then the rest is like browns, which is not really the vibe that I would like to go for on this island at all. So I'm just hanging on to one terracotta roof that I saw, and I think that I will make the roofs like some kind of terracotta vibe. And maybe I'll make the buildings even have a more Japanese feel in the fancier area. So I did get a good amount of inspiration actually from my little trundle. Now, Bangle's house here, I did want to feel quite a bit different from the other ones. I wanted to break up this formula that I've been doing with like seating, table, and then some kind of drink. And I was thinking originally that I would kind of make her house into a mini little spa. That's why I put these papers out here, and I thought it would be like a little reception desk before you go into the spa. But I end up changing this because it just looked too formal and it doesn't really have anything that screams spa, and I have to have the build kind of like say something in a very small amount of space. So I ended up making it kind of like a little juice bar, and I put the slushy machine in and a little sign, and it just looks so much cuter. It looks so much more distinctively like an actual build, and it breaks up this neighborhood in a nice way. The only thing is that I couldn't fit the air conditioner, so I did end up putting in a little pink fan, which I thought was cute too. And of course, I had to change out the juices because some of the juice did not match their respective tables or vibes of the condo that they were next to. And I had the melon soda right next to the strawberry soda, so I couldn't have that. It's too many sodas, even though this is the soda shop, so it would make sense that they would be like right beside this. I don't actually end up keeping that standing sign. I change it out to an electric one. The fan is so cute. I'm absolutely obsessed with this fan. I've wanted to use it on the island for a while, and I never found an area that kind of fit it, but this is so cute and pink and adorable. I am absolutely obsessed. I need to get her a new wreath on the door, but I love it. And I think I might change out the flooring to like that terracotta flooring for Bangle. And these houses look so much nicer when I changed Bangle's house to pink. Like there's still pink, orange, and kind of a different orange with green accents, but they feel like colorful in a new way that I really love. So I continued on with my decorating, my chaotic pattern of going back and forth, realizing I have green leaf piles in my pocket and deciding, oh, I should put those somewhere. Man, I don't know what is happening. I got in my head about mold toxicity, and one of my favorite creators, Mia Maples, she had mold toxicity from like a house that she bought and was living in for a while. And my nose has been running nonstop, and I have seasonal allergies. So guarantee this is just seasonal allergies, just doing their thing and making my life hell. But there is a little part of my brain that says maybe you should test yourself for mold toxicity. And you know what? I might. And you know what? I might. So if anybody has struggled with mold toxicity before, I'm gonna need y'all to go off in the comments because I gotta figure this stuff out. I didn't take my allergy medication for like a day, and today is terrible. I forgot because I accidentally, in the middle of the day the other day, took another one of my allergy medications because I got my wires crossed. I meant to take Tylenol, and then I was like, this is a pill right in front of me, and I just took another allergy medication. And I was like, what did you do? Why did you do that? That's expensive. You wasted it. And I was like, damn it. So then I didn't take it at night, which I normally take it at night and in the morning. Don't worry, a doctor said that that was okay for me to do because my allergies are so bad. But anyways, now I need to go out and get more allergy medication because I ran out because silly me took an extra one. I gotta go spend $30 to get 20 pills again. It really, really blows. It blows my nose. Actually, it doesn't blow my nose. I have to do that for myself. Thank you very much. Oh, like, people with allergies, go hog wild in the comments. I need to see all of my allergy kings and queens and royalties in the comments. I never know the gender neutral term for royalty. Royals. That, I mean, and when I hear it, then I'm like, oh, that's so obvious. I didn't think about it, but I was just like, what is it? A ruler? Highness? Your Highness. Ooh, love that. Also, Highness makes me feel like I'm about to say Heiny, which is a silly word, but Heiny is a funny word. And could that be a short form for Highness? Instead of saying Your Highness, you're like in your head being like, Your Heiny. Thanks, Heiny. That's kind of cute. What if you named a pet Highness? That just, and also it's kind of like heinous. It kind of sounds like heinous and Heiny mixed together. That is a terrible name. That's a terrible name for a pet, to be clear. One of my neighbors really loves to eat onions like first thing in the morning. Like, sun has risen, it's time to eat a pound of sauteed onions. And at any other time of day, it might smell pretty good, actually. It would probably be pretty good. But for some reason at 9:15, I'm smelling sauteed onions with like the heaviest spicing you could imagine. And there's something about my brain that says, that's not oatmeal. What are we doing? That's not toast and eggs. What? And that's so, honestly, white bread of me, but on it, it breaks my mind. The mind repels. It's like when you see a Japanese breakfast and you're like, fish at breakfast? Fish at breakfast? Crazy guy. Also, at this point, I did steal from this other build because I had already taken that shot of it before. And I realized I didn't have any other utility poles. Girl, you can go to your storage all you want. Your storage isn't there. Remember, you picked it up. Anyways, I realized that I didn't have any other utility poles, so I just stole one and brought it over here because I had already taken the other shot, like I said. But I did run around for a little while just figuring it out. Back to Japanese breakfast. I don't really understand it because it's like having miso soup and fish. It just doesn't feel correct in my mind. But it's whatever you grow up with. Like that nature versus nurture. Nurture won out there because guaranteed if a person just was transplanted, they would enjoy different food. It's just like your taste buds get used to it, right? In addition, I recently had a guy from Jiffy, like a handyman service, come and hang up some shelves in my apartment. And he's from Benin, and that's in West Africa, kind of near Nigeria, from my understanding. And I asked him what his favorite meal from his country was, and he said jollof. And I did not know what that is at all. And it's one word, gel of, like together, jollof. And I thought he said jello, but with an F. And I was picturing like a sweet jello. No, no, no. Jollof is rice and it's incredibly spicy. So like, and he said that he ate it for breakfast that day. He's like, imagine eating jollof for breakfast. And I was like, I can't. Literally, I've never eaten this thing before. But it does look like it would be the kind of thing that would absolutely destroy my system. I cannot handle spicy food at all anymore. I used to be able to, and I ruined myself with Takis and really spicy ramen, that bulldog noodle. I destroyed my bum. I know it's too much information. Too much information. I know there's too much information right now. I destroyed my body. I made myself actually sick, like ill. Like I need to call out of work today type ill from Takis one time. Not Takis. What am I talking about? It was hot Cheetos. Never mind. Similar, I mean, honestly, Taki, hot Cheeto, they're a different flavor profile, but like we're dealing with the same chemical ingredients at the end of the day. We're putting something that should not be humanly consumed. It's inhumane to make a person consume this toxic waste of spice, but I destroyed myself on that junk food, and now I can't enjoy things that are probably much more varied and delicious, like Jell-O, which is interesting. And I also know that that song, Shake It to the Max, mentions Jell-O, and I do love that song, even though it is definitely NSFW. It's a banger, and I really like it. So I'm getting to work, back to Animal Crossing. I'm getting to work on 2 more condos. And when I was making these on stream, I realized that putting 2 condos directly beside each other, touching, ruins the effect of them being like individual buildings and being little separate guys. For some reason, putting a little gap between them makes them feel more like a little beach house some kind of way. I'm not really sure, but that's what I figured out. I didn't like them when I put them exactly side by side, so that's why I had to put a little gap between them. And I think it makes it cute too, because then they have their own little yard. And I am repeating, I am just doing the blue and pink variants because they were my favorite. I like the orange and green one, or like kind of yellow and green one. I tried so many ways to not have to shove this thing around because I had already put in the fencing. I mean, in hindsight, maybe don't put the fencing in first, but at the same time, it didn't take me that much longer. And who doesn't love a good shove in Animal Crossing? I mean, specifically in Animal Crossing. Who doesn't like a good shove? That's not really pleasant in real life. But in Animal Crossing, and also shoving furniture is heinous in real life also. Try shoving a table across your floor. Try getting your neighbors not to complain. Am I right? Honestly, my upstairs neighbors are so chaotic. This morning, I don't even know, like, what made you pound on the ground 3 times? What? I'm trying to literally think what needs to have like a heavy stomp 3 times in a row besides telling somebody to stop making noise. And I was just watching YouTube shorts, so they definitely couldn't hear that. If they were upset by that, then they need to come downstairs and tell me what's up. They're my upstairs neighbors. They don't have upstairs neighbors. So they're on the top floor. What do they got to be pounding about noise about? Nothing. And on that note, everybody, we have come to the end of the video, and I am so happy with the way that this whole area turned out. I think it's so cute and so colorful and special, and definitely has that onigiri vibe that I was looking for. Feels very much like a resort, very tropical, has a slight Japanese touch, which I'm hoping to accentuate even more on the 2nd level, but I tried to hit it with some key items like the lucky cat and the Dharma and that little doll in the case up there, and I feel like it's really giving American Village. I love how each one of these apartments, like one has windows for that lower level, one has this like kind of terracotta vibe, the pink one, and then the string lights on top of this like shiplap board. Everything feels kind of like hodgepodge, which is definitely the vibe that I get from American Village that I wanted to carry forward to this island. And it's so colorful and fun and just has this like happiness to it that is so nice. Thank you all so much for watching today. This video was so fun to make. I feel like we talked about so many different fun things. And I also apologize for asking you to comment so many times, but to the people who like respond to specific questions that I ask, I always find that so funny and cool when I see like responses, and sometimes it'll be a while after the video is published and then I'll see a random comment like answering a question and I'm like, oh yeah, that's so funny that I just like asked that partway through the video, and I'll get back down that rabbit hole of of like thinking about that topic again. So definitely go check out House Hippos. Go check out this What Vegetable You Are. I want to see what everybody's vegetable is. Have an awesome day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Okay, bye everybody.